Hey guys, welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. I'm your host T Word. They call me the People's Champ. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So today I want to talk to you guys about the myth of the weight bully. So I've been in quite a few boxing circles and had some conversations about different guys that are starting to have trouble making weight to remain in a particular division, or they get to a certain point where they just can't make the weight, but they stick around because they're a champion or something like that. A couple of guys that currently come to mind that seem to have some weight issues going on. You can think of Shakur Stevenson, who recently lost his titles on the scales. Tank Davis has actually lost his titles on the scales twice. And then you also have to look at, he lost them once. Errol Spence, who's recently complained quite a bit about having trouble making 147 pounds. I have some deeper thoughts on that in a moment. And then also recently crowned undisputed champion at bantamweight, Monster Inoue. He also had a couple struggles. He had to weigh twice in order to hit the weight in his undisputed fight. So, as many of you may know, I am a personal trainer by trade, and I know a little bit about weight management. I understand what it takes to get a particular person in weight, as some of you also know. I train to compete competitively in amateur boxing. So what that means is that I understand how to maintain a certain weight. If there's an event coming up, I know what date I need to be at a particular weight. And then I also understand what I need to do to maintain that weight and then get right on weight right before weigh-in. As some people might know, you have to really maintain your weight at a certain level or close to your fighting weight before you even get to camp. So let's say you have let's say April 1st fight date, right? We're just going to use that. You're going to do an 8-week camp. You probably want to get to camp no more than 15 pounds over. So then you could safely lose 2 pounds a week for 7 weeks. That's going to be 14 pounds out. And then that last week, you're going to hover right at or around. You'll probably lose 2 more pounds that last week, which will put you right on weight. Okay. So, because that'll put you with a 16-pound weight drop and you were 15 pounds over. So that puts you 1 pound under your necessary weight. With some play in the scale, you're right in the wheelhouse where you need to be. That's why you often see boxers, they're barely like just baby sipping water, stuff like that. So I don't think that weight bullying exists because guys shrink down to a certain weight to remain in the class. I think you have to find where you can have an effective mix of speed, power, and stamina while at a certain weight. Sure, you could get fit, and let's say take for example Errol Spence. He's about 5'9.5", 5'10", depending on what day you catch him, what shoes he got on. But anyway, he could probably blow up to 180 pounds. So that means that if he dropped, let's say 20 pounds, he could put on muscle and he could fight at 160 pounds. But would that be his most effective weight? Just because he can make that weight easier doesn't mean he's going to be at the right strength, because the way that you train, he might put on too much muscle, which is going to affect his stamina. And somebody like Spence, who likes to build and just build on the energy of the fight, and he's still throwing 50, 60 punches around late in the fight, 70 punches around late in the fight, he's not going to be able to be that type of effective, which is a big part of what helps him beat his opponents. He breaks you down by volume. So if he can't punch at the same volume, if he's at, let's say, middleweight at 160 or super middleweight at 168, that's not his ideal weight. I'm starting to believe at this point in his career, 154 and 147 are close enough that he can be effective in both weight classes without losing his ability to have that stamina late in fights. The training is going to be the same, and it's just going to be a little bit easier in between fights. So when I talk about what's going on between fights, this is, again, we're going to go back to that April 1 fight date. Okay, so that means if he knows he's getting this fight in January, he's going to want to stay. Let's say he wants to fight at 154. He's going to need to stay at around 170. Starting in January, he wants to be at that weight or a little over, maybe even 175. That means he's got approximately 3.5 months or so to try to take off another 20 pounds, which you can do safely. On average, you want to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week before you even get to camp. In camp, you're probably going to lose about 2 pounds a week due to the intensity of the camp. Same thing with a guy like Inoue. He's looking at moving up to 122 for 118. That's only a 4-pound difference. So for him, cutting that couple extra pounds those last few weeks of camp, he may just not be interested in the struggle of it. And it's not like he can't physically do it. It's just, why would you make something harder? Now, if he was blowing up to where he'd probably be more comfortable at 126, Now you're looking at a weight issue where he's draining down to make a weight. That puts him outside of his weight class. So hopefully this explanation gives you a clear picture on when you talk about weight bullies. I just don't think it exists, because there's actually a lot of disadvantages to shrinking down to a weight you shouldn't be. If you're, say, intended to be a middleweight and you're making 147 or 140, you're probably leaving a lot of your power and stamina in the gym because you're overtraining. You're also going to find that your muscles hurt. You're more prone to injury because you're not doing things that you need to do. That's another thing. There's only been one actual in-ring injury for L. Spence. He had the detached retina, with torn detached retina, but he's not getting hurt in training. So that means he's probably training at a weight that's ideal for him as a professional boxer. However, 154 probably going to make that training just a little bit more comfortable over the long haul. So I really want to know what you guys think about, do weight bullying really exist, or is that just something that people make up when their favorite fighter gets beat by somebody that's just bigger than them? Love to get your comments. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like the channel, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. This has been T-Word for the Mic Check. Out.